Today is February 11th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are continuing Chapter 3, more about alcoholism. We'll be reading page 31. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 4. We'll be reading page 53. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. It's cold in the garage, but we got our little space heater here, warm cup of coffee, and I woke up sober today. So I'm ready. So let's get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book, more about alcoholism, man, that first page and a half really hit hard for me. But I think one of the biggest things for me is I've always wanted to drink like other people. But as it says here on the bottom of page 30, for me at least, who I consider an alcoholic, it says, over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. And I think somewhere it talks, right before that. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. So we're going to continue that thought on page 31. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe that they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they'll try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic. If anyone is showing inability to control his drinking, can do the right about face and drink like a gentleman, our hat's off to him. Heaven knows that we've tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. Here's some of the methods that we have tried. Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drinking in the morning, drinking only at home, never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever, with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We can increase the list ad infinitum. We do not like to pronounce any individual as alcoholic, but you can quickly diagnose yourself. Step over to the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking. Try to drink and stop abruptly. Try it more than once. It will not take long for you to decide, if you're honest with yourself about it. It may be worth a bad case of jitters if you get a full knowledge of your condition. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And if you recall from yesterday's reading, we talked about the root causes of why we wanted to drink in the first place. Some pretty powerful stuff. Page 53. But it is a form of our twisted relations with family, friends, and society at large that many of us have suffered the most. We've been especially stupid and stubborn about them. The primary fact that we fail to recognize is our total inability to form a true partnership with another human being. Our egomania digs two disastrous pitfalls. Either we insist upon dominating the people we know, or we depend upon them far too much. If we lean too heavily on people, they will sooner or later fail us, for they're human too, and cannot possibly meet our incessant demands. In this way, our insecurity grows and festers. When we habitually try to manipulate others to our own willful desires, they revolt and resist us heavily. Then we develop hurt feelings, a sense of persecution, and a desire to retaliate. As we redouble our efforts at control and continue to fail, our suffering becomes acute and constant. We have not once sought to be one in a family, to be a friend among friends, to be a worker among workers, to be a useful member of society. Always, we tried to struggle to the top of the heap or to hide underneath it. This self-centered behavior blocked a partnership relation with any one of those about us. Of true brotherhood, we had small comprehension. Some will object to many of the questions posed because they think that their own character defects have not been so glaring. To these, it can be suggested that a conscientious examination is likely to reveal the very defects the objectionable questions are concerned with. Because our service record hasn't looked too bad, we've frequently been abashed to find that this is so, simply because we have buried these self-same defects deep down in us under thick layers of self-justification. Whatever the defects, they have finally ambushed us in alcoholism and misery. Therefore, thoroughness ought to be the watchword when taking the inventory. In this connection, it is wise to write out our questions and answers. It will be an aid to clear thinking and honest appraisal. It will be the first tangible evidence of our complete willingness to move forward. "24 hours a day, February 11th. AA thought for the day. If we're going to stay sober, we've got to learn to want something else more than we want to drink. When we first came into AA, we couldn't imagine wanting anything else so much or more than drinking. So we had to stop drinking on faith that someday we really would want something else more than drinking. But after we've been in AA for a while, we learned that a sober life can really be enjoyed. We learn how nice it is to get along well with our family, how nice it is to do our work well, whether at home or outside, how nice it is to try to help others. Have I found that when I keep sober, everything goes well for me? Meditation for the day. There is almost no work in life so hard as waiting, and yet God wants me to wait. All motion is more easy than calm waiting, and yet I must wait until God shows me His will. So many people have marred their work and hindered the growth of their spiritual lives by too much activity. If I wait patiently, preparing myself always, I will be someday at the place where I would be. And much toil and activity could not have accomplished the journey so soon. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may wait patiently. I pray that I may trust God and keep preparing myself for a better life. Daily Reflection, February 11th. The limits of self-reliance. We asked ourselves why we had them, these fears. Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? Alcoholics Anonymous, page 68. All of my character defects separate me from God's will. When I ignore my association with Him, I face the world and my alcoholism alone and must depend on self-reliance. I have never found security and happiness through self-will, and the only result is a life of fear and discontent. God provides the path back to Him and to His gift of serenity and comfort. First, however, I must be willing to acknowledge my fears and understand their source and power over me. I frequently ask God to help me understand how I separate myself from Him. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading, and great stuff as always. Real quick about more about alcoholism. some of those tricks, that we tried. I'll only drink during the weekends, or I'll only drink certain types of drinks, and all the things. I know I've done a lot of those. It cracks me up how many times I had tried to put little regulations on myself, and I might be good for a couple days, but eventually I would just cave toward the end and come up with some kind of excuse. And it was all in my brain. It was all in my mind. My mind would say, come on, man, it's not that big of a deal. Just have one. It's no big deal. But of course, for me, if I have one, all I want to do is have another and another, and I want to feel numb and withdrawn from my family. But a lot of times the reason I would drink is because of the root causes that the 12 and 12 talks about. I didn't know how to handle some of my emotions, my fears. I didn't realize how fearful I was and can still be if I don't watch it and I don't work the program. But I love what it says at the end of step 4. Oh, by the way, so I read page 54 as well, so we probably won't read the 12 and 12 tomorrow. But this last paragraph. Therefore, thoroughness ought to be the watchword when taking inventory. So for me, I got to be thorough. Can't sugarcoat anything. But I always love what a friend told me. For every terrible thing that you've done, write at least 1 or 2 things good that you've done to balance it all out. And I guess maybe he said that to me because he knew that I already wrestled with self-hatred, which is a form of self-centeredness. So, God bless the person I worked with at the beginning. But then it says, in this connection, it is wise to write out our questions and answers. For me, I had to put a pen to paper. It will be an aid to clear thinking and honest appraisal. I love this last line. It will be the first tangible evidence of our complete willingness to move forward. When I had to write these things out, I was like, oh man, this feels very uncomfortable at first, right? But then I realized, that line, half measures availed us nothing. I had to be honest with everything. And I still, to this day, have to be honest with everything because it gnaws at me. I think I talked about it about a week ago. There was something I was wrestling with because I only told my friend the tip of the iceberg of what I was thinking and what I was doing. But it was gnawing at me. I would wake up in the middle of the night still thinking about it, going, you know what? I didn't tell him everything. I need to tell him everything. And of course, this is a friend that I trust and keeps everything confidential and has kind of the same goals that I do. So finally, I told him. I told him everything. I wanted to be thorough about this time and also make amends for not telling him sooner. And guess what? Instead of the fear that my brain was telling me, I'm like, oh man, this is going to change everything if you tell him. Guess what? He thanked me for telling him. And he talked about his own struggles. He said he'd pray for me. And we came up with strategies to try to avoid that in the future. And I wrote everything down on a list prior to having that conversation with him. And after praying about it, after confessing, after coming up with strategies to avoid it in the future, I burned the list, which for me, I don't know why that works for me, but it does. And since then, I haven't really thought about it much at all. I don't know. These are things that work for me. But I think what I'm trying to say is, for me, I have to be thorough. I have to be honest. Even when I really don't want to be. So, or especially when I really don't want to be. But anyway, my friends, that's all I've got for today. Thank you for letting me ramble there. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, or any other sect or denomination. I am just a friend in this lifeboat recovery, really just honestly honored to be here. Thank you so much for the emails over the last few weeks. The feedback on Spotify, it's always a joy to see. I feel like this podcast has a little community growing, and what a blessing that is. But trust me when I say y'all are helping me more than I'm helping you. And that's the beauty of this program. But if you're sober today, you're a miracle. And I'm sure that those who love you are very proud of you. And if you're not sober, you're a miracle as well. And I hope you know that you're worthy of recovery and you can make that first step toward change today. And you don't have to do it alone. The first word in the steps is we. So if we're given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.